I have a 1996 Chevy pickup truck. It happens to have the 6.5 turbo diesel in it, which overall seems to be a fairly decent engine. However, I've been fighting an issue where this valley fills up full of diesel fuel. And I think about a year ago, I tore this whole top of this engine off and replaced the rubber hoses, because the rubber hoses that were in here were pretty bad looking. So I replaced them all, put it back together, and I thought surely that'll take care of the problem. And it did not. The valley still would fill up full of diesel, and it would just drip over the back of the bell housing. And it would also sometimes get stuck up here in the fan and get sprayed around the engine compartment. So I cannot find this leak for the life of me, and I got online and a couple of people said you can run this diesel with the intake off and troubleshoot the problem. And so I thought, well, I will do that and we'll see what's going on. I've done a little bit of rigging, as you can tell. I basically have a jumper cable hitting these two ground wires that normally clip on the top of the intake back here. I kind of have a ground wire coming off my battery going to the block. I relocated the ground wire over here temporarily so that it's nice and tight. I didn't really have any other cables, so I just grounded my heatsink with a pair of vice grips to the bracket here, and I left all of this stuff plugged in and just kind of pulled it back and laid it up here. The intake's off, obviously it's unbolted completely, laying in the floorboard of the pickup truck, and we're going to start this and see if we can find the leak. Hopefully you can hear this. The engine's kind of loud. Obviously there's a couple open exhaust ports in the top. We'll walk around, take a look at it, see if we can find this leak. In case you missed it, the leak is on the fitting that I'm shining my light on. We'll try to tighten it up, see if it leaks anymore. If not, we'll take it apart and inspect the fitting and see what's going on. But that does answer the question. You can run these 6.5s without the intake on top. Few words of caution. Make sure that there is no dirt. You've cleaned everything up really well. I actually put towels and stuff in the ports while I was working on it right before I started it. You don't want any dirt or grime to get sucked in there or fall in there. Another word of caution is this is a diesel, so it doesn't take any electronics to run. There's no spark plugs. Basically, if it can get fuel, it'll run. So when you have all of this apart, you need to make sure that there is no major source of diesel leak so that it won't run off. Now, what a runoff is that's when the diesel starts taking in fuel and you can't shut it off, and then it'll just basically over rev and pretty much explode itself. So in this scenario, I made sure that I took all of the fuel out of the valley, I cleaned everything up, and I expected a drip, and that's what we got. And a drip's not going to over rev this engine or overrun this engine. So you have to be kind of careful, but yes, you can start these engines without the intake. And in my case, I really had no other clue where this leak was, and I was able to spot it pretty quick, as you can see. I was able to reach a wrench down inside there and tighten it up a little bit, and it still leaked. So I took it apart and I cleaned it all up, cleaned the fitting up really good, put it back together and snugged it down, and it doesn't leak anymore. So that definitely took care of the problem. Now we just got to button this engine up and it'll be ready to roll for maybe a few more 100,000 miles. I typically post a lot of build-it-yourself and do-it-yourself type videos. However, every now and then I sneak in a vehicle repair such as I did today, or another video oddity. If you like these types of videos, please like and subscribe. Take a look at some of my other videos and you might be entertained.